Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, your favorite monotone host, Shadow Claw. I'm gonna try to redo this. I was gonna just stick with the original, but I'm realizing that I have so many issues with it that I might as well just redo it. The audio quality on my part was not good. So let's just get through this. Alright, this had been at least a month. Uvalde's bit has happened, unfortunately, and now we're at the fact that, you know, unfortunately, people had gotten themselves involved politically that aren't usually political. So it is unfortunate, but it happens. So let's just get started, shall we? Alright. Now, this is from the Texas Tribune, but the same can be found at, I believe it's the Washington Post. So, at the very least, alright. So, I don't think a lot of people know about the messages, or at least the supposed messages from the shooter on Instagram, and even before that, apparently the shooter approached his sister to get him a gun. Well, she was wise with that one. Alright, so in May, the shooter purchased some firearms. This one person had put it out there that the amount of money he would have spent would have been a good few grand. Alright, so he sent messages to a girl in Germany about shooting his grandma and whatnot. Planned and took off. Alright, so in 11:28, so everything started around 11 a.m. 11:28 is when he got to the school. Alright, so the teacher had called 911 when and the so so when he got to the school, he crashed in the ditch, and what happened was that the crash was witnessed by two people from the funeral home, or at least the direction of the funeral home. They went in to try to help, but he fired at them and they retreated back to the funeral home. Smart idea because he don't want to deal with anything like that. Alright. 11:30 is a teacher calls 911, report the shooter. Shooter walks through the school parking lot 1 minute later. I mean, basically during that time of the phone call. Shooter enters the school and apparently let off some number of rounds. I'm, they're estimating about 100 rounds. And he ended up camping out in classrooms 111 to 112. The thing is, it's crazy, is that the authorities had reported that the teacher had left the door open. So basically, the authorities tried to deflect it and tried to point the fingers at everyone else. Uvalde police entered the school because apparently they entered the school and um some and they ended up getting grazing wounded. Gunmen fired 16 more rounds. 11:37, 11:43. Rob Elementary and Uvalde police made a post on Facebook. Police officers have basically went inside the school and basically stayed put. 11:44. National officers. Initial officers are here and receive gunfire. Therefore, do not make entry. Officers call everyone in the area and additional forces. Tactical teams, riflemen, the goes. Yeah, that's the believe that. Yeah, DPS official had said that in one of the videos. I'll be addressing it in a little bit. More police arrived at 11:51. Alright, and that's the thing too. It's like it's a good thing onlookers started really filming because that way they can actually show what's going on. The onlookers were coming to where the school is. School has 2 entrances, so they both were trying to get to their kids within the school especially after hearing what was going on.
Man, y'all can't be like that, man. Y'all can't be like that when there's people.
Yes, I do. Get across the street because I'm having to deal with you.
Being aggressive with the parents. Look, I understand that you're trying to keep people outside safe, but come on. You're better off trying to take down the shooter. Alright, police continues to arrive and student calls 911 from the inside. 12:10 would be student calls back. 12:13 student calls back. I mean, 3 times within a 20-minute period. Tactical patrol unit, border patrol tackle. I can't talk. I do know English. It is my only language. I mean, I know a little bit of Japanese, but that's besides the point. But the student also calls again at 12:16. Okay, so that's 4. School announces about the shooting. And the onlookers begging police to do something. I've seen the video. It is like, this is literally. I'm showing this a little bit. This is them. The police actually actively arresting some of the parents because they're trying to get into the school. Understandable. Because I'm sorry, I don't have a kid, but I would still run in pell-mell to protect any child that's in that predicament. So this is another look at what's going on.
All the way back. All the way back, please. All the way back.
Yeah, this is what
back, all the way back to the back of the buses. These buses need to move right now.
I've seen people because they don't. People are moving because they're afraid for their children. And I'll just show this because I kind of showed it already. This is them basically with a actual shield running in there. And yeah, I mean, Halligan is used in moments like this by both police and firemen. Now, this isn't really the greatest picture, but I wanted to get a picture of one where it's being used, and it is used for multiple things, multiple ways. It is primarily designed to help gain access to an area during a emergency. So as we see, kid keeps calling. Oh no, this is a different student. So a second student started calling 911. Now, for the fact that the student in room 111 calls 911 tells me that the shooter is probably in 112. And that's the thing. He's probably going back and forth pacing. Student room 111 calls again at 12:36, 12:43. Gunman shoots the door. 12:46. I can hear the police next door, student who calls them. I mean, it is just heartbreaking. Student in room 111 calls back again. A gunman fires off some more. I can hear the police next door. Police send the police in now. 12:46 and 47. Border patrolman killed. Why is the border patrol even there? I get it. It's like they were asking, officers or people to come in and help them, and it's like, all you could easily do is barge into the room and basically take some shots. Yeah, you may not want to take shots in case he may try to use a human shield. However, you can easily clear one room out if you even check the doors, because the doors were not designed to lock from the inside, which is crazy. Also, the doors. So with that, the doors can only be locked on the outside. So it wasn't a barricaded situation. After the border patrol agent shot and killed the gunman, all the children were moved out, and police announced the shooters. I mean, this was such a heartbreaking moment. So I'm going to show you a path the police had set. I wish I can show you my cursor because it would make easier. But as you can see, this is the path the gunman took. The reason why there are a couple of question marks is because of the fact that they don't know if the gunman went into 111 or 112 first. It's kind of a moot point, but they just want to make that distinction. So this is one thing I love about like the internet, is because you can find information. Okay, see, gives us more of an idea what's going on. Okay, if the government fires into the rooms of 102, 3, and 4, path of the gunman is marked by the light blue arrows, as I hope you basically figured that out. Now look at room 112 and 111. Well, rooms. They have no windows. I was trying for the life of me trying to figure out if they had windows or not, but apparently those two rooms do not have windows. How accurate this diagram is, I'm not 100% sure, but if it is very accurate, that's really like terrifying. And this gives us more of what happened, more of like an actual like look. Now one thing is they also didn't try doing is distracting the guy. They didn't even try talking to him. They treat him solely as a shooter, and that's it. But not even that. He, I don't know. The guy who led this really messed it up. It is such garbage what happened to those kids. I pray that they aren't permanently scarred from it. Here we have Jimmy Dore talking about the initial incident, the initial chaos. I apologize. I thought I still have the Brandon Tatum video, but apparently I do not. So I'm gonna have to add my poorly rendered video for my earlier video, what I'm meaning, and so here we go.
You know what happened in Texas with the shooting, but there's another story, and the story is that the cops stood outside and didn't go in while the guy was shooting the kids because the cops were cowards. And here it is. Cops still can't explain agonizing hour-long wait to storm the Uvalde classroom. Is that how you pronounce it, Uvalde? Am I saying it correctly? I haven't heard it pronounced yet. Here we go.
Sorry, folks,
As
I'm
questions
just
mount over the
scrolling
police
around,
response to
forgive
the
me.
shooting rampage in Uvalde that left 19 children dead, including an hour-long wait to storm the building, footage has surfaced showing desperate parents pleading with police officers outside the school to take action as the massacre was unfolding inside. The video, filmed by a nearby resident outside Texas Robb Elementary School, was verified by the Washington Post, was taken at 11:54 a.m., 15 minutes after the 18-year-old gunman Salvador Ramos had entered the school and barricaded himself in a classroom where he opened fire on kids and teachers. He was still shooting, and the cops were outside not going in. And so I'll just show you a little bit of this because it's just heartbreaking to watch. So here are the parents, and they want the cops to go in to do something. And what did the cops do? The cops start tasing the parents. That's what they start doing. I'm not kidding. You see, they tackled that one guy. They tackled that one guy who's trying to go in and help his kids. So that cop has a taser in his hand. He's going to tase the parents. There's a guy inside of a school with a gun shooting kids, and they're outside tasing parents.
Yep, I'm trying to keep
You
a
can't make this
perimeter
up.
from anyone going inside. It's unbelievable.
And the cops won't do anything. The cops won't do anything. They got guns everywhere. What do you got your gun for? What do you got your gun for? There's a guy inside. Go shoot him. No. What do they got their guns
No.
for? What do you have your gun for? Director for
I'm just gonna
For
skip
the
through this.
Texas
I have
Department of
linked
Public Safety provided an
Sinatra
updated
Says'
timeline of events on
video
Thursday, yet it
in
still
the
raised more
description,
questions than it
so-
answered. You want to see this? Watch this.
So at this time, no. No. There was not an officer readily available armed. No.
So he's answering a question because originally the reporting was that the authorities said there was a cop at the school with a gun. He's saying there wasn't. So that's what that was. And then
Could anybody have gone there sooner? You gotta understand, small town. You have people from Eagle Pass, from Del Rio, Laredo, San Antonio responding to a small community.
could they have got there sooner? You got to remember it's
But what does that mean? I mean, anyone can take that as any other way. Some people may even take that as basically an excuse, saying that, "Oh, we're sorry that we have so few officers. We had to go beg other people to come over here." So so are you trying to say that you blame people for your own neighbors for not being a police officer?
A small town, we've got people from Eagle Pass, Del Rio, Old El Paso responding, many of whom hadn't had breakfast yet, and that's the most important meal of the day. Here we go, more.
According to the information I have, he went in at 11:40. He walks, and I'm going to approximate 20 feet, 30 feet. He makes a right. He walks into the hallway. He makes a right, walks another 20 feet. Turns left into a schoolroom, into a classroom that has doors open in the middle.
Why is he giving all this ridiculous information? The shooter walked 20 paces and then opened the doors, then turned left and walked another 20 paces to a classroom with doors. Also, there was a chalkboard, some desks, maybe an apple on the desk. We're still waiting for forensics on that. These are the most incompetent cops I've ever seen. I mean, I've seen
I
incompetent
do
cops.
like his
This is unbelievable.
sarcasm. It's just how he
These guys are like,
talk
they're
about
worse
this.
than high school children. This is unbelievable.
It's just crazy that the parents were trying to go in there, the teacher.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. I would definitely have tried to sneak in there.
Oh,
child was killed.
here's more.
Officers are there, the initial officers, they receive gunfire. They don't make entry initially because of the gunfire they're receiving. But we have officers calling for additional resources. Everybody that's in the area, tactical teams. We need equipment. We need specialty equipment. We need body armor. We need precision riflemen.
What's he doing?
Negotiators. So during that time that they're making those calls to bring in help,
You do not need negotiators. You can just talk to the kid yourself. Yes, he may be 18 years old, but he's still a kid. But still, it's like, come on. How idiotic do you think we are? Like, really?
to solve this problem and stop it immediately, they're also evacuating.
So we need resources, tactical teams, equipment, specialty equipment, snipers, negotiators. Somebody's got to make a Starbucks run. We got to consult with Chuck Norris for any possible karate-based solutions. What?
Really
He's acting like, oh, there's a guy shooting. All right, we've got a list of stuff we got to go home and do, and then we'll come back. We got to call these people and make all these lists and get all this equipment here. No, you guys have, I see all the guns you guys have. There's a bunch of cops there with rifles. Go in the school, you pussies. Go in the school, you cowards.
It really sounds like Reno 911.
Yes.
It's like a Reno 911.
They go the other way, and then they stop people from trying to save them.
Personnel, students, teachers. There's a lot going on.
There was a lot going on. One of those things that weren't going on was us going after the shooter and saving those kids.
It took
For
them
an hour
to find a key for
to
the
get a
room. That was
master
what they
key.
initially said.
Well, watch this. Here we go. There's
Don't
more
forget,
from this guy.
everything's in the description.
So look, we appreciate the questions.
But what were the officers doing between 11:44 and 12:44?
I got
when
you.
the suspect is
Yes, sir.
barricaded behind that. You guys have said that he was barricaded. Can you explain to us how he was barricaded and why you guys cannot breach that door?
So I have taken all your questions into consideration. We will be doing updates. We will be doing
updates.
updates to answer those
You should be
questions.
able to answer that question now, sir.
What is your name?
Shimon Prokopets from
Shimon.
CNN.
I hear you.
Because we've been given a lot
Shimon.
of information. So
Sorry,
why don't you
I
clear
had
all
to.
of this up now and explain to us how it is that your officers who were in there for an hour, yes, rescuing people, but yet no one was able to get inside that room.
Shimon, we will circle back with you. We want to answer all your questions. We want to give you the why.
Okay, Mr. Jensaki. I'm sorry. That was just such a Jensaki moment. It was just like, okay, we're going to circle back with you. Really?
That's
So he's asked, what were the cops doing for an hour between 11:44 and 12:44? Well, that's when a lot of the cops are watching The View. Also, my deputy Chet, he had to pick up some dry cleaning. That's what was going on.
You gotta circle back.
He's got to circle back. Believe me, Shimon, we want to answer all your questions. We need more resources. We need PR people, lawyers, more cowboy hats for sure, computer animators. We're a small town. Here we go.
Our job. So give us time. I'm taking all your questions. I'm taking them back to talk to the team.
Can you tell
And,
us how the door was barricaded?
Look, thank you for being here.
How was the door
We'll talk
barricaded?
soon.
So he gave no answers to anybody about anything. But I will show you how they blame teachers for this. So I just to get you up to date, so that guy confirmed that the shooter crashed his truck in a ditch near the school at 11:28 a.m. He then climbed out of the passenger side with a long-arm rifle and a backpack of ammunition. He fired at two people at the funeral home across the street from the school who were not injured. They called 911 at 11:32 a.m. about an armed man who had crashed his truck and was running towards the school. That's at 11:32 a.m. At 11:40, approximately 8 to 10 minutes later, surveillance video captured Ramos entering the school, the shooter entering the school unobstructed via a back door that was left unlocked, that cop said. Ramos walked down 2 hallways and barricaded himself in a 4th grade classroom. 4 minutes later, the first police officers arrived on the scene, but they were fired upon by Ramos. They don't make entry initially because of the gunfire. They call for additional resources. Everybody that's in the area, he said. We need specialty equipment. We need body armor. We need precise riflemen, negotiators. You heard him say that. He insisted the officers were trying to evacuate students and teachers at the same time. Then a full hour later, Border Patrol tactical teams arrived. Then they made entry and they killed Ramos. Escalon could not explain what happened in the 10 minutes between the 911 call and Ramos entering the school. What did happen? Where were the cops? Why couldn't the cops get there within 10 minutes? There's a 911 call. You're a small town. It takes longer than 10 minutes to drive to the school? They could have got there before the guy got in the school.
And you don't alert the school.
And you don't alert the school to close the doors?
Yeah, what?
That's crazy, because I would think that any officers worth their weight in would call the school, say, hey, just give you a heads up, you have an active shooter in your area. I mean, at that point they already know, but I don't know. It's just disheartening.
Whole hour. Watch this.
You say there were 19 officers gathered in the hallway or somewhere. What efforts
So now they're saying, no, we weren't in the school. There were 19 officers in the school. And now he's going to ask them, well, what were they doing?
were made to try and break through that door? You say it was locked. What efforts were the officers making to try and break through either that door or another door to get inside that classroom?
None at that time.
None. They were making no attempt to try to save those kids. And they act like that's an acceptable answer. Hey, look, just because we all wear cowboy hats doesn't mean we aren't huge pussies. Because we are. We're all cowards.
Look at what those hats just stand there like
just idiots.
jagoffs.
Fucking morons. They're at a cowboy hat convention. They're all playing dress up. Use them when they're supposed to. They should have told him there was an unarmed black guy inside with a cell phone. They would have ran in there and shot his head off.
We're better with unarmed teens.
Through either that door or another door to get inside that classroom.
None at that time. The on-scene commander at the time believed that it had transitioned from an active shooter to a barricaded subject.
You have people who are alive children who are calling 911 saying, please send the police. They are alive in that classroom. There are lives that are at risk.
Hey,
That's not protocol, is it?
we're well aware of that.
Right, but why was this decision made not to go in and rescue these children?
Again, you know,
This guy sounds like Amber Heard on the fucking on the stand. It's unbelievable.
He
we're
kinda
well
does, to
aware
be
of that.
honest.
You mean you're well aware that there were little kids calling for you to come save them, and you didn't?
Help me.
Not at that
Save
time.
me.
At that time, no, we did not.
At that time, we were not saving them. No.
I keep saying at that time.
And they were in the hallway.
for children at risk. Obviously, you know, based upon the information we have, there were children in that classroom that were at risk.
They was just
and it was, in
admitting that
fact,
they thought
still
all the
an active
children were
shooter
dead.
situation and not a barricaded subject.
Sir, if I can follow up. Sir,
So he's
What? So that's that. So we just didn't go in.
So they thought it was that there wasn't any kids with him. He had just barricaded himself in.
No, he thought
And there's
that all the kids were dead, is what he's saying.
Wow.
He's saying that there were no more kids at risk anymore. We thought that so he didn't say that, but that's what he's implying, that they were all dead, and he was just barricaded himself in that room with the dead kids that were already dead. They weren't. They weren't already dead. They were calling 911.
Yeah. And he admitted to that. He said they were still calling 911.
Can you believe these people? These are grown-ups.
On camera.
On camera. These are grown.
Yeah, it's just sickening and sad.
But there's no more cowboy hats.
Here, there's more to this. Watch this.
Suspected of where we knew the shooter entered, Ramos, was propped open by a teacher.
So now they're going to throw the teachers under the bus.
I don't understand what they're saying the teacher did. Had the door open
They're saying
in
the
class?
teacher propped open the door. That's how he got into the building. The teacher had propped open the door. Well,
Yeah, and then it was figured out that, oh, no, it was closed. It's just that the locking mechanism failed. See, incompetence.
well, let's listen. Watch.
Suspected of where we knew the shooter entered, Ramos, was propped open by a teacher. 11:28. The suspect vehicle crashes into the ditch, as previously described. The teacher runs to the room 132 to retrieve a phone, and that same teacher walks back to the exit door, and door remains propped open.
He's blaming the teacher. He's blaming the teacher. That's what he's doing. He's got that timeline down.
Yeah, it's stupid, ridiculous BS-ery.
Slaughtered. But we're going to put most of this on the teacher.
So really, door safety was really the main issue.
Door, yeah,
of
the
this,
problem is door
the main
safety.
takeaway.
You're right. So here's another guy goes on with Wolf Blitzer.
Look at his face.
Listen to this garbage. Listen to this, another cowboy hat jackass. What fucking? They're such children. You know, I dressed up last Halloween. I dressed up for Halloween. I put on a big cowboy hat because I wanted to dress up as an asshole, and it worked. Everybody knew.
Well, was it a mistake, do you believe, Lieutenant, for the officers on the scene who were there, as you correctly point out, to wait for this second tactical team to arrive before fully pushing into that school and neutralizing the gunman?
So what we do know, Wolf, is that there was multiple officers that arrived on scene. There was 3 officers that arrived that made entry at one of the entrances where the gunman actually made entrance to. We had another 4 officers that made entry at the other entrance of the school. So there was officers inside that school. As they were taking gunfire, they were also calling in for reinforcement, backup, tactical teams, snipers, any additional.
They just keep talking. They just keep talking as if they were doing something. They just keep talking. So they're like a kid. So they know they're guilty because they're over-explaining things. You know they're classic liars.
It sounds like in Idiocracy. At this time, a particular individual.
yes.
was entering through a
That's
door
exactly
that
what they're
went
doing.
in
If I
front
just
left.
say a lot of things, it'll sound like I know what I'm talking about. And I'll use terms like perpetrator and stuff like that.
Personnel that could arrive to assist to not only with the situation, but also to assist in evacuating students and teachers. At that time, that's when a U.S. Border Patrol tactical officer arrived.
An hour later.
Also with a Zavala County Sheriff's deputy, as well as 2 additional Uvalde Police Department officers were able to go into that classroom with a ballistic shield as cover. And of course, we know that one of those officers, an agent, actually was shot, was grazed at the top of the head, but they were able to shoot and kill the suspect and preserve any other life. We know that there was other injured children inside that classroom that they were able to save as well and get them to cover. And at that point, it became a recovery process, a rescue operation, trying to rescue the injured and also any other potential children.
So he thinks he's going to overtalk Wolf Blitzer. That's what this guy's doing. I'm just going to talk, and I'm going to get to the other part of the story, so Wolf isn't going to double back on it. Will he?
Teachers that were inside those classrooms.
But don't current best practices, Lieutenant, call for officers to disable a shooter as quickly as possible, regardless of how many officers are actually
police
on
stations
site?
do that.
Correct. The active shooter situation, you want to stop the killing, you want to preserve life, but also...
Well, if we use worst practices?
No, Wolf, we actually use worst practices.
Yeah, our practice is we wait to make sure we can go in without getting hurt.
They are hearing gunshots. They are receiving gunshots. At that point, if they proceeded any further, not knowing where this suspect was at, they could have been shot. They could have been killed. And
yeah, that's what you're supposed to do, fuckface. You're supposed to risk being shot to save kids. That's what you're supposed to do. I don't know if you know that, but you're supposed to risk your life. That's why that's why you get to carry a gun. That's why you get to brutalize anybody at your whim and never have to pay a price for it. Because you are supposed to be risking your life. And what he's saying is, they would have been risking their life. Yes!
I don't know about brutalizing, but...
that school. So they were able to contain that gunman inside that classroom so that he was not able to go to any other portions of the school to commit any other killings.
So now he's saying, no, they were containing him in a classroom with kids that he was killing. They contained him in there. You go kill all those kids, but not anymore out here.
Oh boy, Jimmy, though, you're something else. You're funny. You're hilarious.
More news about Uvalde. Is that how you say it? Uvalde?
Uvalde, I thought.
I want to call it Navalny. Anyway, source, police never tried to open the door to classrooms where the Uvalde gunman had kids. They never tried to open that door. That's the headline.
He wasn't barricaded?
No.
Wow.
It's kind of amazing. The surveillance footage shows that police never tried to open a door to 2 classrooms at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde in the 77 minutes between the time a gunman entered the rooms and massacred 21 people and officers finally stormed in and killed him, according to a law enforcement source close to the investigation. Investigators believe the 18-year-old gunman who killed 19 children and 2 teachers at the school on May 24th could not have locked the door to the connected classrooms from the inside, according to the source. All classroom doors at Robb Elementary are designed to lock automatically when they are closed so that the only way to enter from the outside is with a key. Police might have assumed the door was locked, but the latest evidence suggests it may have been open the whole time, possibly due to a malfunction. The gunman, Ramos, entered Robb Elementary at 11:33 a.m. that day through an exterior door that a teacher had pulled shut, but that didn't lock automatically as it was supposed to, indicating another malfunction in door locks at the school. Police finally opened the door to classroom 111 and killed Ramos at 12:50 p.m. Whether the door was unlocked all along remains under investigation. Regardless, officers had access to the entire time to a Halligan. That's a crowbar-like tool that could have opened the door to the classrooms even if it was locked. 2 minutes after Ramos entered the building, 3 Uvalde police officers chased him inside. Footage shows that Ramos fired rounds inside classroom 111 and 112, briefly exited into the hallway, and then re-entered through the door. Ramos then shot at the officers through the closed door, grazing 2 of them with shrapnel. The officers retweeted to wait for backup and heavy tactical equipment rather than force their way into the classrooms. So there's little kids in there being shot, and those guys who are cops and have guns decided to not do anything.
It's disappointing.
When a custodian, now listen to this. So a custodian brings a large key ring. They tried dozens of keys, but none of them worked. But they weren't trying it on the door where the guy was. They were trying it on another door.
Unbelievable. Yeah, like that's gonna.
So if they would have tried it on the door where the guy was with the gun, they would have realized the door wasn't even locked. But they didn't try that door. They were trying it on another door. Rather, he was trying to locate a master key by using the various keys on doors to other classrooms. While Arenando waited for a tactical team to arrive, children and teachers inside the classroom called 911 at least 7 times with desperate pleas for help. Would someone come in here and help us? One of the 2 teachers who died, Eva Morales, she called her husband by cell phone after she was wounded and laid dying.
Okay, look, I don't know who anyone is, but I highly doubt anyone can just sit back and let their loved ones die. And the police officers are supposed to be a brotherhood, because that's what basically a lot of these institutions, like the firemen, the police officers, it's all a brotherhood. Now the fact is that this happened, and yet all the officers are told, sit back and relax, don't bother going in there. I'm sorry, but you try to stop me, I look dead in your eyes and be like, try and stop me. Yeah, might get my butt arrested, but at least I would have known I tried to get in there. This guy he must have such huge regrets.
Days after the massacre, Stephen McCraw, director of the Texas Department of Public Safety, said at a news conference that each door can lock from the inside, and that when Ramos went in, he locked the door. Well, no. That wasn't true. It looks like that was not true, and that guy was giving some more bullshit information. Remember the bullshit information he gave that there was a teacher who propped the door open? That was bullshit. And now he said that Ramos had locked the door from the inside. Now it looks like that was also bullshit.
Yeah, it was. He even admitted it.
That information was preliminary, the source said, and further.
He admitted it to the hearing. I have put the update of all the information that came out rather recently down in the description below, because yes, it is by Steven Crowder. However, I still he put down the video of the hearing, so I figured, just show. Have you guys watched this? The length of time. He just see how it looks. This is
Investigation by
really
Texas
getting-
Rangers has yielded new revelations about the door. As the investigation has unfolded, law enforcement has changed the story of the massacre several times, adding to public confusion over how police responded to the mass shooting. Days after the shooting, DPS said the exterior door that Ramos entered had been left propped open by a teacher. She had closed it. And the agency also corrected early misinformation that the school police shot at Ramos before he entered the school. No police officers confronted him outside the school. So it's just one lie after another the cops are telling. And if you know anything about police, they lie all the time. I would say about as much as criminals.
Yeah, unfortunately, the problem is what the police lying is the fact that the police are told by their union lawyers, a certain line, and it's very, very robotic. However, this was just complete incompetency from the top down. Incompetency from, the school system, incompetency from the reason why I put the school system there is because of the fact that the school system should have made sure all the doors were in working order just in case there was a gunman situation like that. Yeah, there was one failure after another after another. It is just absurd. Now I'm gonna go to Monsieur Brandon Tatum, who cannot for the life of him admit he is wrong.
And now I want to speak about this this new surveillance video that have been released. It's being reported that this is a surveillance video from the Uvalde school. And this is a picture of the police officers in the hallway. Now, I want to talk about this for a minute. What do I know? What do I do not know? What do you know? What should you know? Is that I'm assuming that this is correct. I'm assuming that this particular timestamp is accurate. Is it possible that it's inaccurate? Yes. I'm assuming that it's accurate, and I'm assuming that this is an actual still shot photo of the hallway. I'm assuming. Could this be off? I don't know. But let's talk about this for a quick minute, because I do not like when things.
Look, there's a word where you can use that does not mean that it is 100% accurate. It is called apparently. You don't have to assume. You can't just say this is apparently in the hallway during the confrontation, during the shooting.
Are taken out of context within a certain sphere, and then a narrative is pushed. I want to see the video of this whole scenario, and then I think it'll make more sense.
Context.
People are saying they're heavily armed. They got the proper guns, and they have a shield. Now you can see this here appears to be a shield. Now, for people that understand ballistics, this could be a rifle shield or a handgun shield. Let me give you both scenarios. If this is a handgun shield, this shield is virtually, it means nothing. Like, it might as well not be here. He might as well put this over here in the corner, because if this is a handgun shield, it's not going to protect anybody. Them bullets going to go straight through there. If this is, in fact, a rifle shield, and this is, in fact, the proper timing here, then there is no reason that they couldn't advance. Well, if they didn't have a key, but given the fact that they had a key, entry tools, there's no reason they couldn't advance on this door if this is a rifle shield. Because Bortak ended up breaching with the rifle shield, multiple shields, and they killed the suspect. So people are jumping to conclusions about ballistic shields and all this, but I want to know, is this a rifle shield or a handgun shield? Is this time?
And actually, here's one thing too that he does not, that I know he is BSing about. because I even looked into the ballistic shields and if there's different types. From my understanding, there's only one type, which is a ballistic shield. Now, there's another type of shield that they use called a riot shield. Riot shield is designed for things getting thrown at them, not meant for a firearm. And that right there is not a riot shield, because a riot shield is clear all the way through. That is a mixture of metal and most likely glass or some kind of plastic. I don't know what the bulletproof stuff is made out of 100%. So, but that's the thing. It is not, I repeat, not a riot shield. He's trying to say, oh well, there's rifle shields, there's pistols, handgun shields and stuff. No, there isn't. There is not. I even looked it up. That I found nothing that would support that claim.
Stamp correct, or is it not correct? Play the video from 11 minutes and 14 seconds. I want you to play it all the way through till 12:50 when he was killed. I want to see exactly what happened in the hallway. This picture really does not explain much. We know that the first reports is that the officer, the chief in Uvalde, when they first approached the hallway, they were met with gunfire, and, you know, based on what they said, they were outpowered. But they got reinforcements. So at 11:52, which is 19 minutes after the shooter supposedly got into the school, they had backup and reinforcements. So it makes sense that new people will show up with rifles and engage. Now, I want to see the full video, and then I can give a better, more thorough commentary. But for the time being right now, this really doesn't do anything but add fuel to the fire if there's no context behind this.
All right, look, I'm one guy that does agree that we need to always have context. But what kind of context do you need from this? Sorry for making a lot of noise in the background, but like, what type of context? I really hope do you need? This is during, especially when the girls, when the when the kids are calling 911.
And you know, it's just the attack on law enforcement officers is just never ending, man. It's never ending. Like, there was so much nuance that went into this situation, and I really wish that they can give and provide everything we need to make a fair judgment. If you watch this video and they're just like this for an hour and a half and didn't do nothing like this, now we do know that the shooting didn't continue, but regardless of that, if this was an hour and a half and they sat here while shooting is going on, then of course they made the wrong decision. They made the wrong decision. There is no way around it saying that they sat here while shooting is going on, which we don't have any reports that the shooting was continual after 11:40, 48 or whatever. But if shooting is going on and they're sitting here and they have rifles and a ballistic shield, there is no reason they did not advance. Now, here is the reason why I say the things that I say. I know a person who was there, who was in this hallway.
Exited out.
And I believe that person don't have a reason to just make up stuff, because, you know, it's no point. He wasn't with Uvalde, so throwing them under the bus ain't that hard to do. He don't owe these guys no loyalty. If this is even Uvalde PD, I don't even know if this Uvalde or not. But
who was it then? Who do you think it was? The timeline showed that they were inside the stinking school. It is obviously Uvalde PD that is in that picture. Who else do you think it was? Like, okay, I understand. Like, some people he might be thinking, oh, it's probably one of the other precincts that came in to try to help them. Who knows if that's the case? All I know is there were officers just basically sitting around with thumbs up their butts.
But if this is Uvalde PD, he don't have any reason to not throw them under the bus. Now, he told me that there was no shields at the scene and that Bortak didn't even have a shield.
Ball.
That the U.S. Marshals had to bring Bortak shields so they can make entry. So there was no shields at the scene. Bortak didn't even have a shield. Now, what he said could have been accurate if this is a handgun shield. This is what people need to understand. If this is a handgun shield, this is Bortak coming in to do the thing. Stand there and do nothing is hard to believe. Went back into the classroom. And I'm just orienting this based on who is about 19 minutes from the time the kid, he was on scene and they were rescuing kids. There was no more that got shot. They stood here waiting. Cops, complete cowards sitting in the hallway. We will find out when the video shows up.
Mr. Brandon Tatum, this is your conscience speaking. Just take the L. Sorry, I'm being so weird, but it's like, just take the L, dude. You know, is it that hard just to say, you know, I may have gotten wrong information? I don't know. And that's it. We'd be done. But no, he doesn't want to do that. He just wants to think and continue on believing that, you know, he was right, he was okay. Hey there, everyone. How's it going? This is Future Shadow for the second time. I don't know how many times I can just show up from the future. Apparently we got new information. I'm gonna just play this video. It is ridiculous, but actually before I get to that video, I'm going to get to what Beta or Work or Mr. Beta did after basically immediately after Uvalde.
And at this time, I will pass the mic to Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Sit down.
You're out of line and an embarrassment.
Hey, sit down and don't play this stuff.
Next shooting is right now, and you are doing nothing.
No, he needs to get his ass out of here. This isn't the place to talk this over.
This is totally predictable when you.
Sir, you're out of line. Sir, you are out of line.
Yeah,
Sir, you are out
not
of
really
line.
good
Please
for
leave
you
this
to
auditorium.
disrupt this.
I can't believe you're a sick son of a bitch that would come to a deal like this to make a political issue.
I don't blame him. I mean, I don't blame the guy who says you're a sick SOB.
It's on assholes like you. Why don't you get out of here?
Alright, so I don't think much happens after that. But that's the thing is, I will have to agree with the people over on the auditorium, on the stage, is the fact that it is disgusting when politicians like Beto O'Rourke uses the situation to better their own position. You know, it's like, stop politicizing things. But like I've said, the reason why this happened was because the kids were defenseless. There was nothing anyone can do because, for one thing, all their defenses were shut off. It was just poof, gone. Because the outside door was supposed to lock automatically, it didn't. The doors on the inside of the school had no locking mechanism to prevent anyone from entering. Now, I'm gonna play a video. This is not a trigger warning, but this is just a warning all the same. Excuse me. That this is very harsh. I mean, not harsh, but it's tough to watch because this is the actual leak from the Uvalde school system. So that's the gunman. So that was 11:33. Yeah, that was 11:33 when he entered. It took him only a few seconds to get to a schoolroom and basically shoot up the room. There was sound to this, but something's going on with my OBS. I don't not understand. Yep. So let's see. Yeah, like not even 3 minutes later, police had entered the school. You could tell a number of them have bulletproof vests. Like everyone has a bulletproof vest on. Some of them get into position, some of them start going down the hallway, because down the hallway you see some have already gone down there. Officer grabbing his phone, checking it, putting it back. So gunmen started firing and the officers withdraw from there. Yeah, this is disgusting. This is around the time that officers on the outside were arresting the parents. I mean, look, they got a lot of gear already. They already have ballistic shields. What the crap do you need to wait for? It's just, this whole situation was just disgusting from the beginning to the end, and it got more and more disgusting. Well, I skipped a step.
Of the family are part of their
you're not
families
supposed
are
to.
in Washington, D.C. right now.
Well, I skipped a step. There's a reason why I couldn't hear anything, it's because I didn't put the monitor on. But the volume probably was there all the same. If it isn't, I do apologize. Now, this is the hearing. This is a hearing because basically the mayor got his panties in a wad because the video that got leaked was leaked before, and supposedly before he was able to see it, which I highly doubt.
Two-thirds of the family or part of their families are in Washington, D.C. right now.
Yes, sir.
And they're going to have to turn on the TV and see that tonight, not even with the rest of their family. This was wrong to do it this way. The video needed to be released, but the family should have got to see it first.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
The mayor said chicken. It was chicken.
Yeah.
To release that video the way you did it. That part of that video was not supposed to be in what they're doing on Sunday. That was not supposed to be there. They did that for ratings and they did that for money. And that's the only reason they put that out there.
I call BS. Yeah, news reporters will do just about anything for ratings and money. But here's the problem. You guys weren't even gonna release the video. The video showed that you guys basically for over half an hour, you guys were in that building almost as long as the gunmen, the officers were. And what's crazy is that an officer that was at that location or around that area had to call into his superiors to see if he can engage the gunman. Oh, this is why this is why it's like I don't know if God meant to create alcohol, but this is why we need alcohol sometimes.
We're gonna handle that.
No.
Adam, I'm not going to get into an argument with you on that deal. I haven't seen the video yet, but I can tell you that one of the officers you called that got Grace in that deal, in that video, he goes back down that hall 3 times trying to get in that room. 3 different times. 3 different times.
But he didn't check the doorknob, even if they did.
You're missing the point, Adam, because you don't want to hear but what you want to hear. I have said from day one.
Yeah, they're attacking the media.
That was in that hallway has to be accountable for their actions that day. Everyone. No one will be exempt. That includes local, school, federal, state. Everyone has to explain their actions that day. Everybody has to be accountable.
The only thing that the school has anything to be accountable for are the lack of a secured building, because the problem is, like I've been saying, the outside door did not lock. That's a malfunction. Either it's a malfunction and hasn't been serviced in some time, or it's a someone used the hexagonal key, you know, that that type of key that some of the doors, if you use it, it unlocks the door. So that's a possibility. Also, the fact that we've known school shootings has been a thing for quite some time, and yet the inside door, the doors on the inside did not have a type of locking mechanism to prevent the shooter from going into there. I mean, I believe this was just a way for the mayor to save face, but all in all, this all lands on the police and how they acted. And if the mayor doesn't do something to help people, like relax, or even just to hold those accountable. And the thing is that they promoted the guy who was in charge of that thing. So obviously he's full of BS. So I hope you guys have a good one. I just love your families. Tell them how much they mean to you. Just give them all the love you can. Fight for truth. Fight for what is the right thing to do. Do no harm to other people. And may God be with you. God bless.